Charlie Zulu, David in Chilliwack, British Columbia, AE5GH, Gerald in Conway, Arkansas, and N5TFS, Dwight in Jonesboro. Good to have you aboard tonight, Dwight. Hopefully there's some more guys out there in the Jonesboro area still waiting in the wings to check in. But let's stop the check-ins at this point. We are thrilled as all get out to have Rude and Goose with us tonight, and I know it's quite early in the morning there. They've been drinking really black coffee, and but I think their energy level is always high any time of day when it comes to talking about DMR, and in particular the DV Mega and the BlueStack. So I'm not sure who to turn this over to first. So I'll talk to Rude first, as Rude is the one that I've been communicating with over the past couple of months, and he can lead it off, and you guys just take over and go back and forth, whatever you want to do. I know there's lots of questions, so let's just let this thing go and see where it ends up. So over to you there, Rude. Thank you for checking in tonight. KD5DLJ.
KD5DLJ. And everybody present on talk group 3105, Arkansas-wide. Thanks for tuning in and for having us here in the group for explaining something on the nice things we do as a hobby and where everybody can join in and have fun with. Yeah, I had a chat with Guus before, so I'm going to give it over to Guus because he will do the introduction and I will talk on from the BlueStack up, and that's actually the way that things were developed in the way. So, Guus, I hand it over to you, and once you're ready for me, then hand it back to me.
Okay, thank you, Ruud. Good evening, everybody. My name is Guus van Doorn, Papa Echo 1, Papa Lima Mike, and first of all, I would like to thank Danny for the invitation to speak here. First, let's go back to the point where it all started. In, I think it was May 2013, I built a GMSK modem with the well-known PIC processor 2550 and the CMX 589 chip, and of course at that time available firmware from Fred and Satoshi to learn more about the protocol of D-Star. Actually, it was my first introduction in the digital voice. In August the same year, I've built my own version based on the ATmega 328. Actually the Arduino Uno. And soon I realized that boards based on Arduino and later Raspberry would be very well adopted by many people, many hands, because of the experimental nature. The boards at that time were all based on GMSK modem on D-Star, so an external radio was still needed. That's why I started the development of a radio hotspot based on the ADF 7021. I release a mic and take it back. I'm working with my DVK, so I don't have timer yet. So let me release a mic and take it back. So I started to develop a radio hotspot based on the ADF 7021. In November 2013. In January 2014, the Arduino radio hotspot shield was available, and in March the same year, the Raspberry Pi radio. First the single band, and in December the same year the dual band. In September 2014, the DV Mega MB3000 came out. An MB board that works in both codec and packet mode. Either way you can convert PCM to DV, and you can connect a microphone and speaker as a standalone unit, which will be later on my DVCast, but we come to that later. 2015 was the year in which DMR was added to the DVMega range. Here I worked very closely with Jonathan Naylor, G4 Calix, and I like to take the opportunity to thank him again for that. It was a very close cooperation at the time. In September 2016, the implementation of Fusion, System Fusion was done, and remains only P25, which is still on my list to do. Let me release the mic, take it back. So now in 2017 we are working on 3 projects, if I like to say, which one is my DV Cast. This is an IP-based radio, or if you like, a communication tool for D-Star, DMR and Fusion. Ruud will go in further details on this project, what the status is, and maybe a bit about the problems we faced. 2 is my DV host. This is maybe quite new for some people. This is a carrier board that fits the Raspberry Pi radio. On the board I use a very inexpensive ESP 8266 where the host software runs. This is not BlueDV or MMDVM host. It's a own host software. So actually you will have a complete solid state hotspot with the size of a matchbox. All current DVMega Raspberry Pi DVMegas can be used on that carrier board because the protocol between host and modem remains the same. Operation and configuration will be web-based via the web server in the ESP 8266. I now run a prototype that can connect to Brandmeister DMR. When the config tool is done, I will make the software open source so other people can implement D-Star Fusion, etc. networks. Because only for D-Star we have 4 networks, I believe, yeah, D+, D Extra, XNet and XLX. Then the third one is my DV Handy. I released the mic shortly. My DV Handy. This will be an IP-based handheld that incorporates knowledge of the MyDV Cast and MyDV host. The MyDV Handy will be about the size of an MD380 handheld radio with a 2.4
Roger. Well, thank you very much, there, Goose. It was very interesting. It sounds like you got some great things on the back burner there, and you're working on all kinds of stuff. I don't know how you keep it all straight. Okay, let's turn it over to Ruud then. I think it's your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Danny, for introducing me, and also Guus for the presentation. My name is Ruud Kerstens, but as I most of the time say, my name is Ruud, and I try not to be. That's more or less the way people remember me. I'm actually an amateur radio fanatic with electronic knowledge that actually came in contact with Guus after buying some of his hardware. And I was enthusiastic right away because it was Dutch, it was nearby, and he was very open for communication because he likes to help people just like we all do in the group. So once we were there, we had a discussion with a guy who was programming, and that's David, PE1PLM. And David had some great ideas about controlling things with an app on the phone. So once that actually happened, that conversation, we were thinking on how can we connect this. And by working together, we actually built the Bluetooth stack between it. And it actually worked quite well in the beginning. We have been working on that prototype until, let's say, March last year. And it's actually only a short time that the product is available. let me take the microphone back and do a rekey. So working together with David with the telephone apps and working together with Guus on the hardware of the radio, I actually designed the BlueStack board, as most of the people in the group will know. It's a tiny little board which in first design was only a Bluetooth board. But of course it's handy to do an update of the firmware as well if you want to do that. So I also designed a firmware upgrade board, which is the microprog, or as I call it, the little red, because it's a little red board. And of course, in the end, the combination of the two boards is the most sold board, which is the BlueStack Micro Plus. A handy board. It has the capability of firmware upgrading the DV Mega board on top. The only thing you need to do is put a wire in there. But most of the boards that go through the web shop have the wire installed, so most people do not have to bother about it. Firmware updates are always free, as you know, and they can be uploaded with the BlueStack and Xloader. If anybody has questions on that, I mean, feel free later on to ask them. It's not a problem at all. So once we have the Android unit working, we were also, let's see, I'm on 90 seconds, I can go on a bit. Yeah. There was a question about people who had an iPhone, and that was actually a bit of a big challenge that we had, because the Bluetooth stack in the iPhone is handled completely in a different way than in an Android phone. And it's very difficult to program. So our friend David has worked for months to get a working version, and in the end we decided to skip D-Star out of that. We had it working, but it was very unreliable, and as we all want to do, is make everything.
Okay, I just texted him on Facebook here, let him know that we're not hearing him. I take it it's more than just me ringing it, and we're seeing other people keying up here.
Yeah, Ruud wrote me that he had an internet dropout, so he'll find the solution via 4G.
Sorry, I doubled with you there, Guus. I was just talking to you. Are you hearing him there at all?
No, I said Ruud has an internet problem, but the connection to me is okay.
Okay, why don't you carry on and cover for him until he can get back on?
No problem at all. If Ruud hears me, please send me a small message on Skype, then I pass over the mic to you. So, and I can explain a bit more about my DV cast in the meantime. I said it's an IP-based radio, and I mean there is actually no radio part in it, and it will do D-Star, DMR, and Fusion. I think we work on that since a few weeks before Dayton. We had a prototype there, and since that time we worked on the hardware, and we had quite a big challenge to make the audio clear. We had some noise from the Raspberry Pi and some power supply issues. But since I think it was early this week, yeah, we have covered all the issues, and Ruud is now doing the design for a new board. In the beginning, it was based on Arduino Mega, but yeah, we've decided to make one step ahead, which was actually planned already, but the Arduino Mega solution, yeah, was meant to be a intermediate solution, but now we go to a main board with a more powerful controller. and it looks like a real radio. I think people saw saw already some pictures, some photos of the unit. It's equipped with a 2.4-inch Nexion touchscreen. There will be a main board in for the power distribution and the audio amplifier. I released the mic shortly. So audio amplifier, and we have made two circuits to electronically control the volume of the microphone and speaker, because we know that the microphone level on let's say MB level differs between D-Star and DMR. So we can control the microphone level on board now. So that's where we are working on now. Next week we will finish the mechanics. At least that's what we have planned, and I think we can make that. The time that the product is available, we are not sure, because it's a development, and if you know what kind of issues you face, it's not difficult to plan, but you don't know. That's so far my DV cast. I don't have any messages from Ruth yet. So actually that's all I have to say about now. So maybe back to net control, and let's see if there are already questions. It's Papa Echo 1 Papa Lima Mike.
Alrighty. Well, we've got a few questions we can start with here. Some have posted them in the Facebook pin post there. We've got a couple from Alec. 2 questions to ask. Yes. Talker alias. I have all the latest updates to my DB Mega and Blue DV. I notice on Android, because that's what I use, I'm still getting the blank audio where there's a full signal and the audio.
Okay. I've written them down and I try to answer them all. Talker alias, I'm working on that with David now. The reason that MDVM host can handle that is that Jonathan is doing voice data header regeneration and EMP regeneration. We are building that in Blue DV now. So because you know, if you have Talker alias, you have a EMB, and EMB contains all the information which is also in the voice data header, like with color code and your source ID and your destination ID, and that's exactly the information you have to reproduce for radios that not can handle Talker alias, like some early Motorola devices, I believe. So we are working on that as we speak, as right now. Implementation of P25, yes. It's on the list. It's not on top of the list because we first want to finish the MyDV cast, and like all developments, we have some delay on that, but yeah, we are on a good way now. So P25, yes, and if so I'm not sure yet exactly what to do, because I don't have a P25 radio yet. I have to get my hands on next coming period. But we'll see. If P25 doesn't fit in the current DV Mega. If it's work out that the code will be too big for the controller, then I still going to do that, but then I make options that you say, okay, I like to do P25 DMR and D-Star of Fusion P25 DMR, so that you can make a cocktail of the modes so that it still fits. So current DV Mega will be support P25. So again, when it seems to be too big, so that not all 4 modes fit in the current controller, then I make some cocktails that you can choose whether you like. 2 time slots. I don't know. Actually, this is the first I know. I think Jonathan has implemented now in his MDVM host and MDVM hotspot. So it's not planned yet, but it can be done. It's new for me now. Not new that we can do 2 time slots, of course, but there is nothing planned on 2 time slots yet. My back. Papa Echo 1 Papa Lima Mike.
Okay. We have another question by Brent Kelvin. He says, I have the dual band DV Mega on a Raspberry Pi 3 running the Pi-Star image. Right now I'm running the 3.14 firmware, but want to update to the 3.17. The DV Mega already has the wires soldered in place, but what type of programming adapter do I need to purchase to do the update? Also, is there a video that shows the entire process? Thanks for your hard work.
Oh yes, you can use the MicroProc. You can use the BlueStack for that. And there is, I don't know the website out the top of my head, but I believe it's available on Ruud's website. There is a way to program the board with the wire on it directly from the Raspberry Pi. Where I have to say that the procedure to update the firmware directly from the Raspberry Pi is a bit tricky. And why I say it? Because people who are programming directly from the Raspberry Pi, I get some back where the level shifter is broken, and yeah, most of the problems I can bring back to people who program directly from the Raspberry Pi. If you like to do it, do it. If it breaks, it's still warranty, because I do not really know the cause. Maybe they take the board off when powered or whatsoever. I don't know, but either way is okay. On my website, dvmega.aria.nl, and you go to the download section, you find a document that describes how to upgrade the firmware. This is Papa Echo 1 Papa Lima Mike.
All right, thank you. We have no more questions in the Facebook page. How about some verbal questions? Please just give us your call, and we'll turn it over to you.
K4WZV.
All right, Robert, K4WZV, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you, Danny and Goose, and all you guys. We really appreciate all the work you've done for amateur radio. Great devices, excellent, very nice to work with. I have a question. Maybe you might have a suggestion for me. I have a dual band DV Mega on a Raspberry Pi 3 running the latest version of Pi-Star. I have a Hytera PD362 radio. When I'm I'm working DMR with the PD362, sometimes it will hang in transmit mode. Electronically, not actually, just electronically. It will hang in transmit mode. It won't go into the receive mode until I key again. And it only does it with this Hytera PD362 radio. All other radios work absolutely perfect on it. I have tried every single adjustment in the INI files that I could think of that would have anything to do with it, to no avail. Do you have any idea, Goose, where I could go next to get this little PD362 working? Or
I don't know, but first, is it with the MDVM host as well as with BlueDV?
It works fine on the BlueDV. It's just with the MMDVM host, the Pi Star, with the DV Mega on a Raspberry Pi with the Pi Star image. That configuration only.
Okay, and you told me it hangs in transmit mode, and then you have to reboot power cycle. Or did I understood you right that when you press your PTT again, that it will become to normal operation then? Yeah, okay. Yeah, the only thing that I can imagine is that the Hytera radio then doesn't send a end packet, but on the other hand, that's all covered by timeout timer. No, no, at this moment I do not have any idea where that could come from, but let me take this question. I write it down, and I write your call. Let me see. That was. I have two calls on my screen, so please come back with your call sign, and I connect your call sign to the question, and when I have an answer, I come back to you. I can find the details on QRZ, I believe.
Oh, Brick.
Okay, there's somebody in there I think might have a comment. My call is Kilowatt 4 Whiskey Zulu Victor K4WZV. My information is good on QRZ, and my name is Robert. Back to you, Goose.
Okay, Robert, I wrote that down. Okay, Ruud asked me. Ruud is back. And no, Ruud, I only explained that part of the MyDV host. So let me pass the microphone to net control. And Ruud is up again. It's Papa Echo 1, Papa Lima Mike.
Break Mike 6 November Bravo Papa.
KD5 DLG. Net control. Danny, are you there?
Yeah, Richard. Excuse me, my other radio wasn't keying it up for some reason. Anyway, Norman was in there. M6 MVP. Norman had a comment, I think, for Robert. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Robert, is your Hytera got GPS in it?
I think you asked if my Hytera had GPS in it. That's a negative. It's a Hytera PD360, a little tiny handheld. Over.
Yeah, if it had GPS, I would have recommended turning that off in the CPS under accessories. The Hytera, when they're turned off, still keep transmitting, even though they're not transmitting any data. And they transmit between 4 and 6 times, and it looks like it's kept the channel open. So, yeah, we can rule that one out. So back to net control. Mike 6 November Bravo Papa.
Thank you, Norman. PE1MSZ, welcome back. I had an internet failure over there.
Yeah, I had a hell of an internet failure. I had to go into the living room and reboot some modem and reboot my firewall, but I'm up and running again. And I was also looking in, bringing up the hotspot here, but the thing is that I didn't have the talk group programmed in my handy talkie. So I couldn't get it up and running that way as well, but at least I'm back again. Yeah, I understood that Guus also told you guys about the MyDV Cast, the mobile radio which we are working on. We had some issues with audio. The thing is that audio levels between different modes, they actually are different in level, and more of these kind of things. Let's first see if somebody has some questions on the BlueStack or the DV Megas before we go into this in this explanation, because otherwise things get mixed up. Back to you, Danny.
Well, let's streamline this a little bit. You go ahead and just take the questions and field them yourself. You don't need me in the middle there. So any questions, go ahead and call out your call, and Ruud will handle them.
Okay, Paolo, with a question. Yes, please, go ahead.
Is there work being done or work planned so that the Blue DV will run in the background? Back to you.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know our programmer David is working on several items in the software. He's actually rewriting some code. Working in the background on the Android phone has not been that successful yet, but he is working on things like that. The question is if he can get it stable enough to have it working. For experimental purposes, it is enabled in the iPhone versions, but as it was not reliable enough at the moment for the Android, it has not been enabled yet. If it will come, I need to definitely ask that to David himself. But I know if he has an option to make it work, I'm sure it will be there.
Great, Mike 6.
Mike 6, November Bravo Papa. Go ahead.
Yeah, the last two versions of the Android version will run in the background. So latest version is the 12th of September 10104. So bring it up like you normally do. The write-up says push the home button twice. I run a Samsung Galaxy S5, and you push the home button once on that phone, it will go into the background. You can make phone calls, texts. I run my sat nav over it. It works 99.9% of the time. It really depends on the speed of your phone's processor, what's all running in the background. If you push the side button, it will shut the app down instantly. So to put it in background mode, it's either a single or a double press on your home button, and that will put it nicely into the background and work for you. So back to Ruud. Mike 6 November Bravo Papa.
Mike 6 November Bravo Papa. Yeah, thank you for your good explanation. So yeah, as I told you, if he can make it, he will put it in there, and he actually did already. And I just watched the version on my phone, and indeed it keeps working in the background if I press the button only once. Once the screen gets dark, if you lock the screen with the side button, it definitely shuts down the communication. But anyway, K5ROC, is this an answer you can live with? K5ROC, Papa Echo 1 Mike Sierra Zulu in the group. Yeah, well, for us all it's a hobby, and we like working on projects like these, and like the Mighty VCast and other new developments. And every time we get requests and questions, and we always try to help and answer them for everybody. And we also get very good ideas from people. And one of them is, of course, running an app in the background. Yeah, if you're just working with a radio, you don't mind if it's in the foreground, but yeah, there might be more important things coming in sometimes. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? More questions?
Mike 6 November Bravo Papa.
Mike 6 November Bravo Papa, go ahead.
Yeah, not sure what my box of tricks is called. I just call it the DV Mega Ambi 3000. It's a tiny little blue box I bought off Gus, which I'm using at the minute, going through the computer, using the microphone and the speakers. Would just like to elaborate on this fantastic little box of tricks that I'm using. Mike 6 November Bravo Papa.
Mike 6 November Bravo Papa. Yes, we also will come with an Ambi dongle that will fit directly on the computer. And people that have an Ambi 3000, you can work with it with a microphone and a speaker on it with an amplifier board. Actually, it's a part of the Mighty VCast as well. But we also supply a carrier board, which you can use to put your Ambi 3000 in dongle mode. And you can just connect it up with a USB cable to the computer. And you can use the speaker and the microphone of the computer as well. So it's exactly what you described there. It's a little box, the size of a matchbox, size of the Ambi board actually, and like let's say 2 centimeters thick, and that's it. And that works fabulous as well. Yeah. A lot of people use the modules in different ways. The idea about the modules, as probably Gus also said, is like people can build their own solution. They can play around with the modules and they can create their own stuff for it. So that's what it's all about. Having fun with electronics and ham radio. Mike 6 November Bravo Papa, back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rude. Now, I'll have to admit, there's only been 1 day since this little box of tricks arrived that I've actually used a radio. I love it so much. And a big thank you to Dave. We have sat up to the early hours of the morning fixing bugs. As quick as he writes it, I break them. But if you're sitting in the house, working from your Windows computer, hopefully it'll be on Linux when he brings Linux up into date. It's a fantastic little box. Just plug it into a USB port, tell the Blue DV Windows software what microphone I'm using, a tie clip mounted on the back of my normal mic. And it works a treat. The other thing I like about it is it has Vox. So I have got a Blue Pirate headset, which Bluetooths down to the computer, and then I Vox into it as well. So nice little kit if you're no intentions of leaving the house and let's say don't have the funds to buy a radio and want to get started. So I would highly recommend that. So back to you, Rude, for more questions. Mike 6 November Bravo Papa.
I might also mention one thing that we're very impressed with that you guys have seen fit to do, and that is that you demand perfection of
KD5DLJ. I think you came with a message in between. I missed it, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm not sure. I may have doubled with you a little bit there. I just wanted to say one thing that we really appreciate about you guys and your work is that you demand perfection from yourselves, and you won't release product or software that doesn't work or has bugs in it before it's done. So thank you very much for that. That helps us enjoy our house much, unlike buying a product that does have lots of bugs and doesn't give support. It's a pain in the butt. So thanks you guys for the high standards that you set for your software and hardware. Go ahead and take some more questions, and if we can keep the questions a little concise and short to move along, because I think there's a lot of people still with questions. So go ahead.
Yeah, sure. No problem at all. Thank you for the compliment, and yeah, we like to have things to be perfect because we like the hobby in the best way we can practice it. So thank you for that. Anybody questions, please?
No more questions. Wow, that's surprising. Well, your stuff just works. So, while we have some more time, maybe Goose could talk a little bit about MCOM and what you guys are doing there. And does DMR play a role? Over.
Oh yeah, Danny, of course I can. The MCOM group where I'm in is located in the southwest of the Netherlands, the province Zeeland, and we are with about 30 people, and all we do is analog and WinLink. Because of the size, and I don't mean the big size, but the relative small size of the area where we are, let's say, responsible for, is that we only use VHF and UHF and WinLink. We have a RMS on a high building here where we can reach the whole area, and have a RMS relay in it, so that when internet fails, that we still can share messages between the stations. Furthermore, we have I believe 16 buildings, which are most city halls, firefight stations, and with government central points, and there we have a fixed antenna, so we don't have to put our mobile devices there. So there are, I believe, 16 places in our area where we have fixed antennas where we can move to and set up the station. One moment. So one of the let's say the base stations is the 911 central. There we have a place near the switchboard, and there we have short communication lines if needed. Now, furthermore, we do a exercise we try to do it every month, but in fact it's nine times a year, taking into account holidays and so on. And the funny thing is that every exercise will be organized by a member of the group. So we go in couples of 2 or sometimes 3 people, and organize an exercise every month, and that can be a flood or a communication line that went down. We have let's say a contract with local government here, so that they can call us whenever needed, and that we are, let's say, ensured when we go out for them, because normally that isn't here in the Netherlands. Another task that we we live in an area with quite a lot of water and harbors, and sometimes the emergency channel or a call-in channel for maritime and mobiles professional traffic. One or the other problem, a radio remains transmitting, and normally the Coast Guard is responsible for finding them. But when they are, let's say, in a harbor, and I don't know, if you look at the map of Zealand, you can see that you have many harbors which are quite far inshore. And when the Coast Guard has to find the radio, because they have equipment for that, then they cannot reach their access time to an accident when needed. So when let's say a problem with radios is deep inside a harbor, then they call us to find the radio, and when we have found it, then we go together with the Coast Guard or someone else of the local government to take action. Actually, that's it. Our equipment is, like I said, VHF, UHF. We have standardized a portable mast, 6 meters high. We have made sort of radio map so that we have all predefined points where we know that we have good radio contact with a standardized 6 meter mast and a radio with let's say minimum 8 watts. Mike, back to you, Danny. Papa Echo 1 Papa Lima Mike.
Okay, looks like we lost Goose this time. Rude, now it's your turn to cover. Go ahead and take some more questions if you like. Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know what happened. Maybe he was keying a bit too long, and he will probably rekey in a minute. Anyway, yeah, the 3 minutes timer. Guus is already back, so I will give it back to him so he can finish his yeah, it's not a story. Well, it is. Go ahead, Guus, from Papa Echo 1, Mike Sierra Zulu.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was talking a bit too enthusiastic and moved, let's say, exceeded the 3 minute timer. I'm working here with a prototype of a MyDV cast, and first I have to take care that my modulation is not too hard, so I speak to the back side of my mic. And second is that I don't have timeout timer. So normally I take care, but this time I exceeded the timeout timer. So yeah, I'm not sure where I ended, where I've been kicked off, but again, if you have some questions about the MCOM we do here, but again, we are small size. Our area is, let's say, 45 kilometers wide and maybe 55, 60 kilometers high. The province Zealand, which is the island part in southwest of the Netherlands. World is small, and again, that's why we only use UHF and VHF. Mike, back to you again. It's Papa Echo 1 Papa Lima Mike.
Yeah, that's much different than what we have here. You have a very small area. That's about the size probably of our county, maybe a little bit bigger. But do we have any questions for Goose on any income you'd like to learn about what they do over there? Okay, maybe let's take some more check-ins here. We're at 56. I know there's probably a lot of you out there just listening, but it would be very neat to see just how many people have been participating in the net. So let's have another round of check-ins. Just give us your call. You'll show up on my dashboard here, and I can get you entered into the net. Go ahead. I'm going to pick up N5QLC. I will add you to the log here, too. Okay, let's get back to the BlueStack DV Mega. Do we have any more questions for Ruud and Goose on the two combined together as a BlueStack, or maybe just DV Mega alone on the Raspberry Pi, or some other combination? Go ahead.
I've got another question if nobody else wanted to jump in there.
Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, thanks, Danny. And again, Goose, you guys are great things that you do. We appreciate it. Question, Goose. Did you guys maybe have plans, or what did you think? Maybe I'll throw you an idea about a higher powered DV Mega board, maybe one that would do 1 watt. Is there any thinking in that area? Over.
Okay, Robert. Yeah, of course, we had that question many times before, and with the current design, that's quite hard, because amplifying the signal from the radio chip we use now is almost impossible, because it's an SDR type radio with an IF of 100 kilohertz. And you can never filter out mirror products or whatsoever. So that's quite hard. Then you really have to go to a MMDVM design and connect a 1 watt radio capable of doing 9K6. We did some tests with out of the top of my head, RDA 8016 or whatsoever. It's the RDA chip, which is also used in the Baofeng radios. But as far as I have tested and some other people, it is not capable of doing 9K6. So DMR and active use D-Star is impossible with that. There is a guy who did some tests with D-Stars, but had many problems on that. So at this moment, a 1 watt hotspot is let's say only possible with a quite low power radio and MMDVM. And my back to you, Rob.
Okay, very good. You explained that very well. Understood well there. I just thought I'd throw it at you and see what you thought. Thank you so much, Goose. Appreciate it. And again, thank you for all you guys do. Great products, and we enjoy everything that you have come out. Let me pass it back to anybody else that has any questions for Goose, I guess.
AJ5C.
Okay, Robert, go ahead.
This is AJ5C. Just want to let you guys know, I just purchased the iBlueStack micro for the Apple, and that thing has been working 100% with both my iPad and the iPhone. Thank you guys very much for what you do. AJ5C.
Okay, Robert, you're welcome. Have fun. Other questions?
AB4WS.
Okay, John, go ahead.
Love the products. They have several of the boards and different things. I was wondering if it looks like that there will ever be a time where the iPhone product will support D-Star. AB4WS.
May I pass the question to Ruud? Not that it's too difficult, but Ruud is more on top of Blue DV.
Okay, thank you, Gus. Yeah, we have been experimenting a lot with the iPhone software, and we keep track on the firmware for the iOS phones. We did send in an email, and we created a ticket at Apple because of the issues we had with the Bluetooth stack. The only problem that we have is with D-Star because of the way it sends the packets. It's very small packets, and the phone doesn't give any, how would you say it? Let's say it doesn't give any quality of service towards the Bluetooth box. Apple has some great and fine ideas about streaming audio and giving that audio priority. But as all the audio that comes from the BlueStack is a data stream, it doesn't give enough priority to it. And that's why the Android works fine, because it gives priority to everything. It doesn't make any difference between the datas. But the stack that you use in an iPhone or an iPad is built in a different way. And as long as we don't get a good solution together with Apple, we will not release that. We have versions that we can test, and as soon as it is, if it's good, if it's really good enough, then we will enable it in the software, and you will get it in an update for free, of course. But so far, working together with Apple on this is very difficult. And it's not only with our software. It's really a pain if you write apps for Apple equipment to get the good support and get things the way you want it. It's very difficult. Does this answer your question, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate. I can imagine the challenges on it, and I appreciate you all moving forward on that. And we'll look forward to maybe Apple changing their ways. Thanks again, ABWS.
No problem at all. And once it's there, you will find a note on the website of PA7LIM anyway. But yeah, it will appear automatically if it's okay.
Yeah, break mic 6.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Ruder Doss. Does the new PrimeMeister XLX is there a lot of those now linked over to D-Star? If memory serves me right, it's not something I've really played with at this end. But I'm nearly sure if you go in with DMR, the Windows has it. I think the app has it. No, the app's due to get it soon. Yeah, the Windows version has DMR XLX, so I think there is bridging through that back to D-Star. Back to you, Ruud. Mike 6 November Bravo Papa.
Mike 6 November Bravo Papa. Well, the XLX at the moment is experimental in the way that you can use it on the Windows application. We do see some small items to be resolved, and I am not quite sure, but normally the functionality of an XLX would be that if you connect it, that it would actually, the same XLX would be there for all the systems. For example, if you have D-Star and you connect to an XLX, everybody that connects to REF with the same number or DCS with the same number would fit in there. I did not get a message yet from Luc on the interconnect between the systems, but I think Guus might know a bit more about that.
Okay, thank you, Ruud. XLX is possible. Let's say first on the D-Star side, it does a protocol translation. That means if you come in with the extra DCS protocol, it goes out on DCS, D plus, and the extra. this moment, Luc is building the bridge between the different modes. So that means when you go in with DMR, it comes out on D-Star, DMR, and Fusion. The first, let's say, the translation between the D-Star protocols is done software-wise. Translation of the different modes has to be done via the MV modules. So every XLX master that wants to do mode translation has to install, I believe, at least 2 MVs or 1 MV 3003. Like Ruud said, it's a bit in experimental now. The first releases are out, and I believe they're all, let's say, it's not so experimental. I believe there are 160 something XLX masters already. With some minor issues which will be resolved and are known by Luc. Does that answer your question, Norman?
Yeah, and that answers my questions. I'm just getting Facebook messages. Adrian is testing it now. Can transcode D-Star and DMR. You can connect to XLS, I think you mean XLX, 389. Browmaster will be adding one day to talk groups. DMR connects makes it. I've invited Adrian, so I'm not sure if Adrian's going to come in here or not. Yeah, I've been beta testing it with Dave, but I haven't really been using it because the nights we were beta testing, I could only get into the Italian rooms, so I was at a great disadvantage. But I know what you are working on is a big step forward, and Dave is trying to get it implemented in the Android app as well. So thank you so much, Ruud. And Gus, I'll pass it back to Gus and see if Adrian wants to come in here. Mike 6 November, Bravo Papa.
Adrian, I think it is VK40 Wix. Are you listening?
KF5 PKF.
Good morning, Steve. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. Why are the volume levels so vastly different between stations on DMR? I noticed on analog, they're all the same. But the DMR stations, I have to keep my hand on the volume knob all the time.
I think it's radio depending, and some radios you can control the mic gain, so it's one it's setting. On the other hand, maybe you refer now to my modulation, which when I keep the mic right in front of me, it's quite hard, but I have to rotate it 180 degrees. Why? Because from nature, from a specification side, the DMR level, which is going into the MB, is lower than D-Star, and this unit where I work with, let's say the audio circuit, is built initially for D-Star. So with the new audio board, we have a electronic digital volume control from mic, so we can level out the levels between D-Star and DMR. So why some radios differ from level? I think it's a mic gain setting. Why you hear a big difference between people who work with with my DV cast or with the MV3000 on a Arduino Mega. On DMR is that the volume setting is fixed. Does that answer your question, Steve?
Yes, sir, that answered it. Thank you. KF5 PKF.
Rick, Mike 6 November Bravo Papa.
Okay, Norman, go ahead.
Yeah, the main problem with DMR goes back to when it was all Motorola's. It is strongly recommended in all handsets that has AGC to turn AGC off and manually set it. So what happens is AGC was designed to compensate for a loud working environment, so if the background noise goes up, it amplifies your voice. So when AGC's on, radio, the one same radio will come in at different levels. So what we normally do is we turn AGC off, and when you're in a group of 3 or 4, set your levels, and that way you don't ever have to worry again. But definite, the thumb rule should always be AGC is turned off in Hytera's, Motorola's, or any other brand that has AGC in it, and then that makes everybody hopefully back on an even keel. Mike 6 November Bravo Papa.
Okay, Norm, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Any more questions?
Just wondering what it is that you're most excited about, the things that you guys are doing. Obviously, you're probably pretty satisfied with the BlueStack and TV Mega combination, but what is it that keeps you awake at night, that keeps you most excited, and you talk about the most when you get a chance? Either one of you.
Yeah, let's take both ends, because maybe it differs between Ruud and myself. Yeah, the most exciting thing is I would say exploring new things, but that's actually not completely true, because as D-Star as well as DMR are already made mode solutions, but make some products which give added value, or make it possible to use them in the ham radio world, making things which are not available yet. For example, a module, the MyDV cast, building some modes together, make it in a way that you can use components, building blocks. Yeah, that excites me. On the other hand, the contact you get with people, as we do visit Dayton once a year, doing some exhibitions here in the Netherlands, share knowledge, ideas with people. Yeah, that's what excites me, what keeps me busy, and pass it to Ruud to hear his way of exciting. Papa, come on, Papa, you Mike.
Well, yeah, I can only agree on what you said. The way to develop things and to build things, you start by putting some electronics together in a shack because you get some crazy idea, and you start building it together. And in the end, it starts working in a way that more people like it, and you get feedback, and it's actually the whole process about getting an idea and having people have fun with whatever you do. That's one of the most pleasing things about what we do. As I said before, for us it's just a hobby, and we definitely like what we are able to do. And the good thing is that other people can profit from it and have fun with it, and that's for me that's the biggest drive in it. Next to developing things like hardware and software and printing the cases or changing cases, it's everything actually. It's just fun. Hope that gives you the answer from my side.
Absolutely. I just sit here thinking about where we would all be without pioneers like you guys thinking outside the box and people who are blessed with some incredible knowledge and experience that you can envision and put the stuff together the way you have, and what tremendous joy it brings to thousands of others around the world that are exploring new ways of communicating. So I think I can speak for everybody and when I say thank you so much for being out there out front and developing what you've been developing. It's definitely exciting, and I hope it's rewarding to you, and I hope that we never just become your typical consumer that's always demanding more and complaining when things aren't the way we think they should or something, but being that, like you say, this is just your hobby, and we hope that it's rewarding for you too. Again, thank you so much for the BlueStack, for the Blue DV, David for the BlueStack and the DV Mega, and David for the Blue DV, and keep up the great work. Anybody else want to make any comments or ask any questions? Okay, I know it's been kind of a long night for you guys. It's middle of your sleeping time, so we probably can rest up for the day that's already here. A day ahead, hopefully you'll sleep in a little bit. So thank you so much for being our guest. We've had almost 60 check-ins here, and I'm sure there's been a lot more lurking in the background. And I think they've all enjoyed what you've had to share, so much appreciated. And we'll look forward to what comes up with your new IDV cast and other things. We'll be ready to spend our dollars. So 7-3 guys, you want to close up with any final comments? Rude, you go first.
Well, okay. Thank you, Danny, for the opportunity that we had tonight to talk to you guys. We are very pleased that we are invited to do things like this. As I said, the biggest thank that we get is the numbers of units that we see coming online and people having fun with it. And some people, you know, they create their own cases and they make their own setups, and people play with the hobby again. And I think that's the biggest compliment that we can get, is that people start playing with whatever we build and have fun with the hobby again. And with electronics, if they like, they can build additional units themselves, or, you know, it's all about that, and that's the biggest compliment that we can get. So I thank you guys for supporting us this way and having fun, especially. Thank you. From Papa Echo and Mike Sierra Zulu. Go on, Us.
Okay, I'd like to thank all of you for listening in tonight. And Ruud has said what has to be said, so I rest me. I have to thank you again, wish you a good night. We are going to sleep now, it's 4:30, so the coffee took me away. And let's say if someone has questions, you always can ask them by email or on the different social media. Email address can be found on the DV Mega website or on the BlueStack website, no problem at all. Now I hope to speak to you again, and else we meet each other next year in May in Dayton. Have a good night all, thank you. It's Papa Echo 1 Papa Lima Mike.
Alrighty, thank you. And if you would, pass on our appreciation to David also for all his efforts at putting together good, reliable software. Any last check-ins to get us over 60 mark here? Please start keying up and give us your call, and we'll get you in the log.
November 9, Golf, India. N9GI. Maybe I'll be Mr. Irrelevant. November 9, Golf, India. N9GI.
Okay, we got you there, Dr. Michael Hughes in Spring Hill, Louisiana. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you all for checking in tonight, listening in, and making it worth Goose and Ruth's time. And I hope you get excited about what they're doing with BlueStack and DV Mega and Blue DV. And I know we have a lot of users here in the Harrison area and in across Arkansas. So with that, we'll say 7-3. I should mention next week we have a different net control. We've got NX5E is going to be our net control, and I'm going to speak in advance a little bit here of his guest. He was telling me that he's working on getting a guy named Lloyd, a guy he's known for a long time, one of his first contacts on Echolink. He's the former Oklahoma section manager, and he's very involved in the VoIP hurricane net. So it's not been confirmed yet, but he's working pretty hard on it. I imagine he'll probably get him to join us. So come back next Thursday night, same time, for NX5E. Charles in Springdale, Arkansas will be our net control. With that, we will return the talk group 3105 back to normal amateur radio use. Again, thank you, and good night. 73 from KD5 DLJ.
And